everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. So today we'll be talking about the top 5 books that I read in the autumn/fall months. And I did this back in summer and absolutely loved doing this video. So I thought I would go ahead and do it in the fall as well. So I had to narrow it down to 5 books and it was very hard because I had a lot that I really did enjoy. So let's go ahead and get started. So these books are in absolutely no particular order. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with one of the arcs that I read, and that is Enemies by Tajan. This is a book that is based on 2 characters that were best friends, became enemies, and obviously became lovers later on. This is a college setting romance where our main character, she ends up going to a new school down in a totally different state, and she's away from her family. The only person in this city she knows used to be her best friend named Stone, and he is now in the NFL, one of the biggest players. If you like a good sports romance that has a lot of heart, a lot of depth, and if you want to have some tears, definitely pick this one up. So Dusty, our main character, ends up, needing to hear some news, and the only person that can reach her is Stone. So Stone shows up at her, house and basically kind of like surprises her. She runs away, he meets her, and there's some devastating news that he tells her, and her whole entire life changes. It's so amazing to see how Stone really helps her out and through this transition of heartache, and it was just, oh my gosh, so devastating to see and read about. But I absolutely love the romance aspect, and I loved Stone and Dusty and seeing them, overcome all of this grief and all of this heartache that they were going through and finally come together. So yes, definitely one of my favorites of this past fall. Bound Spirit by H.A. Wills is a reverse harem paranormal romance, and I absolutely loved it. This is a book that I was very surprised by, to be quite honest. I picked it up on Kindle Unlimited, and obviously this cover was something that I was, maybe I'll try it. I'm so glad I did. This gave me the Veiled Diaries vibes, and definitely because of something similar. So the main character, she ends up in a new town, doesn't really know anyone, befriends a group of guys that are, the it guys, and yeah, basically, they surround her, they help her out with everything that's going on. But in this one, all of the guys are paranormal, and in the Veiled Diaries, all the guys are humans. So yeah, this is so good. If you like, paranormal, reverse harem books, definitely pick this one up. Unfortunately, I looked up and it's gonna take a little while for the next book to come out, but there are 3 and like a half books to get through, and if you do read it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So I'm not sure if you are at all surprised by this, but this is the Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. This is a Kindle Unlimited dark romance that I freaking loved and devoured, and I read it during my 5 booktuber romance recommendations reading vlog, and I will leave that link down below if you'd like to check it out. But yes, I'm so glad I picked this up because I'm not sure if I would have, or if I would have picked it up so soon. This is about a girl who has had a history of stalking, and basically she kind of gets pushed away from her family to go to some random school, and she is kind of dealing with, this heartbreak of this past person that she thought she loved. And she ends up seeing someone that catches her attention, and it turns out he is a professor, and a married professor. So this is definitely very taboo. It deals with a girl who stalks people. It deals with a professor who's married and they have an affair. So student teacher, cheating because he's married. Normally cheating is something I'm not very, okay with, but for some reason this book handled it very well in the way that this story goes. So if you are interested in reading something that's a little bit darker and kind of pushes some boundaries, has some great steamy scenes, definitely check this one out. I loved it. So for book number 4, I don't think I've even been counting, but yeah, the next book is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is a book that there was so much hype surrounding it. I just really wasn't sure if I wanted to pick it up. I read Fangirl a little while ago and I really did enjoy it, so I don't know why it took me so long to pick this up. Basically, if you read Fangirl, I'm sure you probably already read this one as well, but this is the story that Fangirl is kind of based around. So the main character, Kath, writes this fan fiction, and this is kind of what it's based on, or it's her fan fiction, I can't really remember. But this definitely has some Harry Potter vibes, and I absolutely loved every single part of this book. So this book is about Simon, who is the chosen one, but he's really bad at being the chosen one. And then you have Baz, who is his roommate, roommate who is a vampire, and yeah, he's really there to kind of like be the one that brings Simon down and defeats him. It is a young adult fantasy book, and I absolutely loved it. It was so heartwarming, so wonderful to see, and I ended up picking up the sequel, which I wasn't really sure if I was going to, but after reading this, I need more from these characters. And if you haven't picked this up, please do. It is so whimsical, so magical. I absolutely loved it. So I obviously had to put this book in here, and it was one of my recent releases that I read. It was for the Buzzword Readathon, and I ended up going to the book signing, and now I own 2 copies of this book that are both signed, and that's The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I love the Heir of the Folk trilogy. I love Holly Black's writing and the world that she has created for these fae characters. In this world, the fairy people are not very, lighthearted. It's very dark. These people, they can't lie. So there's a lot of different wordplay in it, and you kind of see how they get around these types of things. The main character in this trilogy, Jude, is a human who ends up getting taken from the human world and brought into the fae world, where she kind of like grows up with these cruel fae. And yeah, the love story between Jude and Cardan, oh my gosh, I was shipping it from like book 1. Absolutely love them. It's like a hate to love romance. I ended up putting The Cruel Prince in like one of my very first romance recommendation videos, so I'll leave that link below if you'd like to see it. But yeah, absolutely love this series so much. This was a great conclusion, and if you've read any of her other books, you'll actually see a lot of those characters kind of showing up again in this series. So that was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to giving some of her other books a reread. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my top 5 books of autumn/fall, whatever you want to call it. I obviously read a lot of romance books. I read Kindle Unlimited, I read fantasy books, and yeah, I have tons of love for these books. If you've read any of them or have any thoughts or opinions about them, I would love to hear about it and chat about it in the comments down below. And I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye!